Hey, this is Coach Taylor with the Championship Football Coaches Clinic. Well, these are my sponsors for now, all right, because I had a manic episode. I went Kanye, all right. Reps VR, First Down Playbook, Rack Coach, Tip of the Spear, the Top Hopper, Sports Workbook. Next pick, I know you're going to stick by me because you're one of my former players, Ronald Cooper from Meadowbrook High School, and the Sideline Sports Network. I love Sideline Sports Network. I love them. They said be controversial. They said be a polarizing figure. James Bell.
How we doing?
AKA Johnny Metallica. All right, I'm giving him the name Johnny Metallica. That's not for today, though. But James knows I'm a polarizing figure, and he sent me a text message today. So, James, do you know anything about what's going on, and why did you text me today?
I texted you because as I'm coming home this summer, and I've decided that I want to go down a career path that involves high school coaching. I want to learn from the people in my area that might have had an influence on me. So I met Coach Taylor. He was one of my coaches in an all-star game I played in my senior year of high school back in 2020, 2019. And so I want to hear his opinion. He's a very polarizing person. He'll give me one side of it. Tom Hall, my coach at Manchester High School, was another not as polarizing person that I'll talk to and get other information from. And I just want to talk to these Virginia high school coaching greats and see how I can learn and hopefully be the next one.
Wow. Well, one thing you can learn from me is don't be like me. I'm the low man on the totem pole. Okay. I actually go by the rules, even though I am the most penalized coach in the history of the game at any level. I probably need to stop breaking so many rules on the field and start breaking more rules off the field. We might win more, So why am I so polarizing, James? And what does that mean to you that I'm a polarizing figure?
You have your own opinions and you're not afraid to voice them. And that's something that I've always thought, don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. And you're always a funny guy. I have a memory of playing at LC Bird my senior year. And
we won't get too far into that because y'all tried to get me fired. All right, there was a movement on Facebook. Yeah.
we had a running quarterback, and I hear coming from the sideline, Coach Taylor over there, he's gonna run it. He can't do anything else. And I yell back, well, you can't effing stop it, so who cares?
And I think I said, you're right. We can't stop it. This is great, man. So James texts me. Is it okay if I read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, hey, Coach Taylor, James Bell. You may not remember me. Yeah, I remember him because he played for my brother. But I was a 2020 grad from Manchester and played under you at the Big River rivalry. Recently, I've decided that I think coaching high school football is a career path that I want to go down after college. I've seen great men like you and your brother and Tom Hall can have an impact on kids' life, and that's what I want to do. I'm reaching out to ask you if you have any advice for someone who wants to make this their career. How can I get ahead of the curve easily and often? Okay,
they haven't say early and often, but yeah.
It's all good, dude. I can't even read. I might have said it wrong, and I definitely can't spell. All right. I mean, how do you get ahead of the curve? First of all, you're already ahead of the curve because you played for a great high school coach. Mm-hmm. And I've interviewed 170 NFL, college, and high school coaches since January, and most of them had great high school coaches, and most of them came from great high school programs. One that I most recently talked to was Chan Gailey, who was head coach at Georgia Tech and the Dallas Cowboys and Buffalo Bills. Him and Dan Reeves, who's a Pro Football Hall of Famer and coached the Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants, they're from the same high school. So their high school coach had 2 NFL head coaches. So that's one thing is you played in a great high school program, so you know how to do it. You know how it needs to be done. Okay. And 2, you go to Shepherd University and play for a great man and a great coach, Ernie McCook. And I have the utmost respect for Ernie McCook, and I have upset the nation. People are outraged. People are picketing. People are rioting. All right. Some college coaches, one college coach, a small college in New York, was outraged that I said that college coaches don't care about technique. And I said, well, coach, what tweet was it that you're so upset about? And he told me. And I said, well, coach, do you get on a Learjet? Coach, do you take pictures of your shoes? Coach, do you eat at Morton's and Ruth Chris Steakhouse? Have you ever seen the Blues Brothers, James?
No.
Okay, well, you need to watch it
I
because
will.
I'm like one of the me and my brother are like the Blues Brothers. All right,
Yeah.
Jake and Elwood. All right, I'm Jake. When they go to the fancy restaurant and they're like throwing shrimp across the restaurant into each other's mouths, that's me. I would be arrested if I went to Ruth Chris. All right, so I'm not talking about the small college coaches. I'm talking about the guys, James. How many different college coaches did you have come to you and ask you to come to camp? We need to see you in camp.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, that's it. Yeah, it's
how many?
All of them, just about.
So 20?
Yeah.
How many camps did you go to?
A good amount, just like every other high school athlete now. But I will say there were camps I went to at schools that you felt like another number. And then there were camps I went to at schools. For example, I went to a camp at Shepherd and I felt like more than a number there. I felt like an actual player. And that's part of the reason why I'm currently a Ram, and I love it and made it one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life.
Yes, because you went from a good high school program to a good college program.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you when you were an 8th grader. I mean, I think my brother even gave you a nickname. What was the nickname that he gave you?
Called me Rudy because I wore Notre Dame shirts all the time.
You little bitty guy with reddish colored hair named Rudy. He's not a very little guy anymore. That's a big dude, all right? And you can't play Shepherd. You can't play Shepherd offensive line unless you can go. And you got to be the size and you got to be a dude. But my brother called him Rudy. I can remember going over there and watching you as an 8th grader in that, y'all's weight room. But I mean, if you want to be a high school coach, James, this is the thing that I'm hanging my hat on. And it took me 20 years to put it in words. And it's this. The first thing we want to do, and we want to do it with this podcast. That's why I asked you, could we record this conversation? Because it's just we're only helping one person. Mm-hmm. If you hear it. One, we want to change lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want kids to be better because they were in our program. 2, we want to help make them better. We want to help them get to the next level. Whether that means go to Alabama and play for Nick Saban, or go to Shepherd University and play for Ernie McCook, or go to the apprentice school and make more money than me, or go to Uncle Sam and make more money than me, or go to anything. I mean, get to the next level, man, whatever that means. And then 3, build champions for life. We just don't want, like, you won a state championship. And, there's probably guys that were on your state championship. One of them made it to the NFL that I know of, but there's a lot of guys that didn't.
Absolutely.
And there might be even some guys that have gotten in trouble since then. So we want to build champions for life. So, James, man, it meant so much to me because, I mean, I got a phone call from a coach. There it is, man. Let me see that thing.
That's college. That's college.
I cried, man. There. Is that the Rams one or is that the Manchester one?
No, this is college. The Manchester one's back in another crib.
Yeah, man. What did y'all win y'all's conference, or is that for the national playoffs?
This is 2021. We made it. Yeah, 2021. We made it to the Final Four for all of Division II, and then we actually made the Final Four again this past year. So I have another one on the way.
Wow, man, that's amazing. I mean, Ernie McCook is such a good dude. Like, my little manic episode that I had, one of my players got hurt going to a camp.
Mm-hmm.
And, his mom was pretty upset that no one even noticed, no one helped the kid. And he sustained probably a pretty bad injury. Mm-hmm. And I'm still upset about it. I'm not upset, so much about, the college that it was at. It's not anybody's fault, but the kid said, "I'm sorry, coach." Like, dude, that moved me. Like, he was sorry. I mean, because he felt bad for the team. Like, that was powerful, man. And so, yeah, I've been upset, but I'm only worried about Virginia. I'm not worried about any other state. And if you want to be a high school coach, when do you come back to Richmond?
What?
When do you come back to Richmond before
I'm
camp?
around for the rest of the summer. Yeah.
Oh, so you're in Richmond. You'll be in Richmond right now?
Yeah.
Well, dude, I invite you to come. You know, watch how we do it.
Okay.
Watch how we coach. Monday,
Yeah,
Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we go from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. and
Okay.
then go see how Coach Hall does it.
Absolutely. I love going back to Manchester and seeing how they do things around.
Yeah, but
there.
see, you're smart because, you know, if you go to Manchester, Coach Hall's got a way of doing it, you know, but Coach Lauren Johnson of Highland Springs has got a way of doing it. The Dinwiddie coach has got a way of doing it. Everybody's got a different way, and there ain't just one way.
Absolutely.
You know? What other questions do you have?
Yeah, so I mean, just as far as like getting into the coaching field, like how is it really about what you know or who you know? How do you that first job is probably obviously the hardest part for people trying to get into it.
I mean, dude, you're not going to have a hard time getting a job because first of all, you played at Manchester High School. I mean, Manchester will hire you. I mean, you know me. I mean, if you have your teaching degree and you want to become a high school coach, I don't see you having a hard time getting a job. You know, if you want to stay up there in GA and get a little bit more experience with those guys, you know, that always just builds your resume. So I don't see, you know, you having a problem. I mean, dude, coaches contact me all the time. You know, coach, do you know anybody? And especially offensive line coaches.
Yeah.
Dude, offensive line coaches are hard to find. You know that. I mean, not many people know how to coach offensive line. And dude, you were smart. You were smart. You knew it all. I mean, heck, you taught me Manchester's offense in the All-Star game. You knew it. And dude, if you're an offensive line coach, you're never gonna have trouble getting a job. I mean, I know some guys that are terrible and they have jobs just because they say they're an offensive line coach. So, man, it's just focus on today. Focus on going to workouts, doing what you're supposed to, learning from your coaches, picking their brains, going to high schools, calling people like me. I mean, what you're doing. You know, you might even want to go to the American Football Coaches Association convention. Last year they had it in Charlotte. Go to that. Go to some clinics. Start going now. Get on some podcasts. Listen to some podcasts. Dude, I befriended Jim McNally, who is like Anthony Munoz's coach. I mean, it's amazing. I was FaceTiming Anthony Munoz and Jim McNally this week. I mean, it's nuts. So what else can you think of?
Just what if you had to give one piece of advice about being a football coach that is not related to football, so related to how related to the kids necessarily, what is one piece of advice you would give on how to be better with working with the kids, working with the players, you know, because a lot of, especially being like, as a college coach, you're working with guys who are 18 to 22 years old, you know, you're working with grown adults. But as a high school coach, you could be working with guys who are anywhere from 12 to 17, 18. How do you deal with the age disparity and get them to form a real team?
I mean,
you know?
I've taught from kindergarten to coach college, and
you coached at Virginia Union, right?
So, dude, I coach guys that were probably 25. I don't even know. Some of them were like out of college for years and came back. Now, when you coach those older kids, and they're all kids to me, you know, when I coach quarterbacks, I told them, I said, dude, we're a team. And how you do is how I do. And how I do is how you do. And really, that's everywhere you go. Now, like, when you're a teacher and you're a coach, like, I got 3 rules. And this is for a classroom, really. But it goes as a coach. Like, number 1 rule for me is don't talk when I'm talking. Don't talk when a coach is talking. Like, that is the number one rule. Dude, how can you listen? How can there be teaching and learning going on if you're talking?
Absolutely.
So one, don't talk when I'm talking. Two, stay in your seat unless you have permission. Like, if people are getting up out of their seat and messing with people and punching people, it's going to be a fight. Three, keep your hands and feet to yourself. Wow, man. I don't have a lot of rules. Do what's right. Do your best. Treat people how you want to be treated. Realize why you're there.
Yeah.
Why am I there? Like, no one should say, well, coach, why are you here? Because I used to be caught up on state championships. I used to be caught up on my record. And when you do that, all you're worried about is the end result. You're not worried about the process. The process is more important than, the product, the end result. A lot of people said it. Win. What's important now? Don't worry about the scoreboard. Trust the process. Right now, man, I just try to focus on the process.
That was something.
I don't focus on the Manchester game. I don't focus on the Thomasdale game. I don't focus on the regional championship. Like, Monday, we got to work out 8:30 to 10:30, and that's what I'm focused on. And so it all goes back to, why are we there? One, we want to change lives. Two, we want to help get you to the next level. Three, we want to build champions for life. And our guys know that. We're all on the same page, and it didn't have anything to say with, well, am I going to get a recruiting visit where I can take a picture?
Yeah.
Or, will I get to go to a camp where I get a golden ticket? Or, will I get a scholarship to Alabama? Like, I don't lie to kids, man. I don't lie to kids. I don't promise kids stuff that I can't. That's one thing you can do. Under promise and over deliver. Don't over promise and under deliver, because they won't trust you. So what do you think? What's on your heart? I mean, we got 18 minutes right now.
So going back, like you said, trust the process, and I've seen that. I remember my sophomore year my freshman year when I was at Manchester, we started preaching trust the process, lost in the third round of the playoffs. Next year, we preached trust the process, lost in the third round of the playoffs. Continued to preach trust the process, went on to win a state championship, because we were taking everything 1 week at a time. We were beating teams by 70, but still practicing like we were playing the number one team in the country. I think I agree with you on the fact that it's about stacking the days, not having one good day. It's about stacking a good Monday on top of a good Tuesday on top of a good Wednesday, and making the days count. Or it's Ernie McCook's favorite saying, Coach McCook's favorite saying, don't count the days, make the days count, right? So those are some things that I look at. As far as teaching goes, I think that's a question for you. What goes into becoming a teacher and being able to be a high school coach? What are some of the behind the scenes aspects that, like, I might not see, because you become a teacher to be a coach, you got to do all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It just depends on what you want to do. What are you majoring in?
Right now, I am a sports marketing major, and I'm about to get my degree after this semester. And then I talked with Coach McCook at Shepherd about going, after I'd done with college, and GAing somewhere and pursuing education while I'm GAing.
Yeah, if I was you, when you major in something like sports marketing, that's always good, because you can use that as business in the real world. But it's kind of limiting when you get into education, unless like my brother, he had a history degree, but he couldn't get a history job, so he took like one class in kids with disabilities, and he got a special education job where he's like a co-teacher in a class where he had to make sure kids' IEPs, individual education plans, were followed. That is something you can always do. It's just like take some education classes, because it's easier for you to get a job if you have a few education classes, and if you've taken that, like, students with disabilities class. Yeah, but I mean, dude, if I was you, I would try to GA right there where you're at, because you're one of them, and you don't ever really know what you get into when you go somewhere else. I would try to get my teaching degree right there.
Mm-hmm.
If coach will let you stay on.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I know Shane, who
Mm-hmm.
coached me at the All-Star game, and when he was a GA at Virginia Union, he told me like he had never coached before. He had been a student assistant at GA, and I was like, well, man, I can get you a receiver job, in high school, at Hermitage or maybe Bird or something. And he's like, nah, he's like, I ain't gonna take a high school job unless I'm a coordinator. I'm not gonna take a high school job unless I'm the head coach. And I was like, dude, like, you've never coached. Like, you've been a GA for 1 year. No high school coach is going to allow you just to run his offense.
Uh-huh.
And if they do, they're not very good. And you're not going to go right from being a GA to the head coach. Like, it took Coach Hall dude, I did 2 hours with Coach Hall. Have you ever watched the podcast I did with him?
No, but I'm going to right after this.
Oh man, dude, I did like 2 hours with him. Like, I'm crying, like I'm getting emotional talking about stuff.
Absolutely.
And dude, just watch that Tom Hall and what he had to go through to get that Manchester job.
Tom Hall is my biggest inspiration for wanting to be a high school coach.
And he was one of mine. He was one of mine because he's from LC Bird, and he's best friends with my coach, Coach Bland. Which state you coach in? Hey, baby, what is it? Is it like 2 up, 2 down? That's right. The home of Allen Iverson, the home of Michael Vick, the home of Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith, Russell Wilson. Yeah, Virginia. We are from Virginia, and
Absolutely.
we are biased. We're biased. We love this state. We love it.
Makes me mad when I look at like lists that say top 10 high school football states and Virginia's not on there. Like, I love Virginia high school football.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all do. I mean, remember the Titans, like it says at the beginning of the movie, dude. But you can't disrespect Texas. You can't disrespect Florida. You can't disrespect any state that's in the SEC conference. I mean, dude, North Carolina put more people in the NFL than Virginia this year. So from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, there's a state called Georgia, then there's Florida, then there's Alabama, then there's like
Louisiana.
It's Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. Like, dude, you haven't even mentioned California. You haven't even mentioned Ohio. So, like, it's crazy, man. Like, Cap and Keith TV. Okay, my son plays outside linebacker in Texas. 6'2", 195-pound senior this year, Keith Hodge Jr. Put his huddle link on there, and we'll take a look at his film. We'll give him some love. We'll give him some pub. We'll pump him up. Give him some PR. All right, looking forward to seeing your son play some outside linebacker. So, man, I mean, we just love our state because we're from there. So, like, dude, when you're a high school coach in Virginia, you teach. So don't expect to be the head coach. Dude, and when you're the low man on the totem pole, when you're the new guy, expect to do the new guy jobs. Expect to, do the stuff. Just go to the head coach, say, Coach, what do you not like to do? What you need me to do? Like, I talked to a kid in Minnesota. I call him a kid. He's 21, and he didn't go to college, but he coaches 9th grade football. And he's always asking me, like, what can I do to help change this program? I was like, I don't know. Like, show up to workouts? Like, I don't know. And he's like, well, we don't have workouts. I was like, well, maybe that's a problem. You might need to go to a different school and find out how someone else does it. Well, Coach, we've only had 3 winning seasons in 40 years. Well,
wonder why.
Yeah. Nick Saban couldn't win there. All right. First of all, Nick Saban wouldn't take that job. But if you're the 9th grade coach, dude, show up and find out what the head coach don't want to do.
Absolutely.
And then listen to this. They work out with the softball team. They work out with the girls. He says there's a rule in Minnesota that football teams aren't allowed to have weight room sessions just by themselves. I was like, dude, that's impossible. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, Nick Saban doesn't have his football team lifting with the volleyball team. Like, I guarantee you there's a team not going by that rule, or either there's some coach in that school that doesn't want to have multiple workouts. You
And
know,
even if they are, make the most out of the opportunity. You know, have your guys focus. Don't look. The softball players can do what they want. Your guys can control how much effort they put in, how much weight they lift, how fast they move.
yeah. Maybe your job might be you go work out the softball players and let the other coaches coach the football team. Okay, we're going to break these guys into two groups. All the softball and volleyball players, you go with Coach Bode. All right. Over here, and the rest of y'all, we're going to work on football stuff. But he says that's against the rules in Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota, from what I hear, everybody's got blonde hair and blue ears. All right. I don't know where the state is on a map. I know it's in Canada to me. You know, Minnesota Vikings. My brother loves the Minnesota Vikings.
How's your brother doing?
My brother is doing great.
Good.
He is an official supporter of the Joe Biden second administration run. Good luck to him in that. That was a joke, but you didn't smile. I mean, it is what it is, man. Yeah, my brother's great. I get to see him. I hope he has a good Christmas. Yeah, I'll probably see him back around Christmas.
Is he still coaching?
No, he's out. He's out of coaching. He's a good husband and a good dad. So
that's just as rewarding, right?
It's supposed to be more rewarding. You know, it's supposed to be more important.
It is.
You know, your family.
It is. Yeah.
You know, but you know, a lot of coaches say they care about their family, but they don't show them the time and attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, football comes first to a lot of coaches.
Do you have any
comes second?
Advice for aspiring coach? Advice for how to handle the family and football work family balance?
The only advice I can give you is don't be like me. Okay, because I wrote the road. I wrote the roadmap to Divorce City, dude. Mm-hmm. Football. My whole life revolves around football. Name a year. Just name a year from let's just say 2000 until now. Just name a year.
It'll go 02, the year I was born, 2002.
Okay, 2002 when you were born. I was coaching football at Meadowbrook High School, and 2001. I was in 2002 football season, 2001. I was a JV football coach at Meadowbrook High School. I might have been varsity. 2000, I was at Bird JV. Then 2001, I was at Meadowbrook JV. 2002, I was a varsity football coach at Meadowbrook High School, and I ran that football program. I helped run it. Well, the off season I ran, and I had guys like John Graves were freshmen, guys that we ended up winning the state championship with, and we were awful. We were the best 3-7 team in Virginia. If we played another 3-7 team, we would have beat them. Yeah. So, dude, I mean, yeah, don't be like me. You know, I mean, dude, some people are just obsessed, man. They're obsessed. You know, we're called football junkies. We're called, like, you'll know us when you meet us. Like, we attract each other. Just watch some of these podcasts. Yeah, so there are some people like Chan Gailey. He's a former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He talks about it in his podcast that he did with me an hour and a half. He's good. Yeah. So you got to get ready to go, man. But yeah. I'm glad you came on.
Absolutely.
And to all the people I offended, I'm sorry.
I don't think you offended it. No way you offended anyone today.
Well, you know, I kind of gone maniac mode the last 24 hours. All right. This is some good advice here. I was at Montclair High School in New Jersey in 03 playing running back. Chance says, if you have a family, set apart a specific to only spend with your family. Some guys, they make their family a part of it. Like Coach Hall.
Yeah.
His daughters are at practice. You know, his wife is videoing the games. Definitely during the season.
I mean, yeah, I had a great relationship with Coach Hall's wife, and because she was always around and always a part of the program. So.
Yes. And you know, coaching is our ministry. Coaching is our ministry. I mean, I could make a lot more money being a preacher. I would be driving an SUV with probably 22-inch rims. All right. And when we passed the collection plate, it would be buckets. But my ministry is football. And we do this because we love it. We don't do it for the money.
Absolutely.
All right. Best way to involve the family. That's Cap TV. Listen to these guys. All right. So you're the best. You'll come back on here, won't you?
I will.
Hey, I'm gonna hook you up with my guys from Totem Pole, man. I want you to be on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You're the best. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna end it right now.